she said. I don't want to be tied to a man anymore. So I cut everything. Now she's crying at her parents' house. I'm 34, and this all started to unravel about 2 months ago with my now ex, Claire. She's 29. We were together for 4 years, living together for 2, and from the outside, things looked good. Honestly, even on the inside, I thought we were strong, until suddenly, we weren't. Claire always leaned into wellness and spirituality. Full moon rituals, that sort of thing. I never judged it. Everyone has their thing. It made her happy, and I liked that about her. I supported it too, financially and emotionally. She worked from home most days, made a little money here and there through online stuff, and I handled most of the bills: rent, utilities, groceries, car insurance. Everything except her own personal spending. It didn't bother me. I figured we were building something. A future. She talked about having a family one day, about buying a house near the coast. I believed her. Then came the Arizona retreat. It was one of those women's healing weekends. All meditation, manifestation, and group circles in the desert. I covered the costs, like I had with most things. I thought it was just another wellness thing that would give her some clarity or peace. But when she came back, it was like someone had flipped a switch. She had this new language. Everything was about energies and divine feminine flow. She looked me in the eye that night and said she needed to step out of this masculine structure. That being in a relationship felt like being in a job. I waited for the punchline. Instead, she said, I'm not sure I want to be tied to a man emotionally or financially anymore. I need to find who I am, without anyone's help. There was this long silence after. I just nodded and said, okay, if that's how you feel, I won't hold you back. She smiled like she'd just won a debate. Like that was a victory. I didn't argue. I didn't yell or beg. I didn't even ask if she was sure. If someone tells you they don't need you, the last thing you should do is try to convince them they're wrong. That night, I barely slept. Not because I was heartbroken. Not yet, anyway. But because I was already doing the math in my head. Rent, utilities, plans we'd made. All of it needed to shift. Funny thing is, she didn't pack anything. She didn't even ask where she'd go next. It's like she assumed I'd keep paying for everything while she found herself. I guess she thought that declaration of independence came with benefits. So the next morning, while she was out getting coffee, I started setting things in motion. Lease, subscriptions, health coverage. Not out of spite, just out of respect for what she said she wanted. Space, freedom. I didn't say anything right away. I let it simmer. Later that afternoon, I sent her a message. Simple, calm. Hey, I respect your decision and your need for independence. Let me know if you need help transitioning anything into your name. She responded with a laughing emoji and, haha, babe, you're dramatic. I didn't answer. That was the first time I saw the look of panic creep in. Not full-blown, not yet. But something in her tone shifted. I think part of her truly believed I wouldn't actually let go. That I'd keep things running in the background while she rebranded her life. But if she wanted space, she was getting it, completely. The next morning, I finished what I started. The lease was easy. My name had always been primary. I just had to sign a couple forms and remove her as a secondary occupant. Canceled the shared grocery delivery plan. Called the insurance company. She was off the policy. Then came the fun part. Removing her from the apps. DoorDash, Netflix, Spotify, even the Calm app, which I barely used, but she swore she needed for her morning affirmations. I didn't delete anything out of anger. I was just following her lead. She wanted to stand on her own. I was giving her the space, financially and emotionally, that she said she needed. That afternoon, I sent her a polite follow-up. Just a heads up, I've removed shared services and updated the lease. Let me know if you need any help transitioning stuff. Her reply, you're actually doing this? Then, a second text. Wow, real mature. I didn't respond. That's when the messages started coming. By that evening, I got a long paragraph about how her debit card got declined at Whole Foods. Apparently, she hadn't realized that I'd been footing the bill for both our credit card points and her actual grocery deliveries. Then she mentioned getting a parking ticket she couldn't pay, and she was too stressed to meditate. No Spotify, no Calm app, and no gas in her car. She was unraveling. Fast. By day 3, she was crashing on a friend's couch across town. That's when the texts turned darker. This is cruel. You're abandoning me. You made me feel like I was safe, and now you're just leaving me to drown. I stared at those messages for a long time. I reminded her, gently, that she was the one who said she didn't want to be tied to me emotionally or financially, that she wanted to step into her power. Her response? You know I didn't mean it like that. It hit me then. Maybe she really didn't. Maybe all that retreat talk and empowerment buzzwords were just fantasy. A kind of cosplay she could dabble in without ever expecting the structure to change. But the structure had changed. Then came a surprise call from her mom. She was confused. said Claire needed money for a new apartment deposit and couldn't figure out why, since she thought Claire and I were splitting everything evenly. I paused, trying to find the most respectful way to explain it. Turns out, Claire had been telling her family that we were partners in every way, 50-50 on expenses, hustling side by side. Her parents had even been sending her $500 a month to help her stay independent. Meanwhile, she was using it on boutique candles and rare crystals she found online. I told her mom the truth. Not cruelly, just clearly. There was a long silence. Then she sighed. We warned her this lifestyle wasn't sustainable. We hoped she'd figure it out without falling too hard. After that, I stopped getting messages from her mom. Claire's friends started reaching out. Some in shock, some trying to smooth things over. One asked if I'd take her back once she gets her head on straight. I didn't even know how to respond to that. I wasn't angry, I was just tired. What hurt the most wasn't the spiritual talk, or even the breakup itself. It was realizing how much she'd misrepresented what we were, to herself, to her friends, to her own family. And still, she hadn't hit bottom yet. About a week after she left, the rest started surfacing. A mutual friend, someone who had always stayed neutral, messaged me. Hey, I think you should see this. It was a TikTok Claire had posted. She sat on a meditation cushion, surrounded by candles, soft piano music playing in the background. The caption read, "When your safe space turns into control, when the man who claimed to love you pulls the rug during your awakening." I watched in silence as she cried, actual tears, about how she was financially manipulated, emotionally unsupported, and abandoned mid-transformation. She never mentioned me by name, but the timing and details were unmistakable. She'd written a whole narrative, one where she was the empowered woman leaving a toxic situation, and I was the villain, the obstacle in her journey toward higher consciousness. But the internet wasn't buying it. The comments? Brutal. Wait, didn't you say you wanted to be free? Girl, if he paid your rent and you called it oppression, that's wild. Healing doesn't mean freeloading. Did she just describe a breakup with her sponsor? She deleted the video within 24 hours. A few days later, I learned more. Through her sister, no less. Turns out, Claire hadn't had more than 2 paying clients in over 6 months. Most of the coaching sessions she posted about on her Instagram stories were staged. Just her on Zoom calls with nobody on the other end, or pretending to take notes while watching old webinars. Even the Arizona retreat? That wasn't some elite women's event. It was her friend's mom's timeshare. The candles, the healing circles, all for the aesthetic. Content, not clarity. And yet, I think she really believed in it. Or wanted to. Maybe that was the scariest part. Now, she's back in Connecticut, living with her parents. She picked up a part-time job at a juice bar. I found a new Instagram account of hers a couple weeks ago. It's full of quotes like, "Sometimes people abandon you because they're scared of your power." Or, "You don't need closure from the person who hurt you. You need to heal despite them." Of course, there's no mention of who hurt her. No mention of who paid her rent, her groceries, her car bills for 2 years. Just vague captions, filtered selfies, and more affiliate links for heart chakra oils. Meanwhile, I've moved on. I'm seeing someone new. She works a lot, travels often, and doesn't post every meal or mantra online. She doesn't talk about independence, she lives it. And she insists on paying for every other dinner, sometimes even fights me for the check. It's refreshing, honestly, to be with someone who doesn't expect love to come with a transaction list. Claire and I haven't spoken since that final message thread. No apology, no admission, just radio silence. And I'm okay with that. Some closures don't come with a conversation, just with clarity. Looking back, I don't regret the relationship. I learned from it. But I do regret how long it took me to realize that support, when unreciprocated, turns into enabling. And that love, when only one person is doing the work, becomes a burden. She once told me, "You don't own me just because you pay for things." And she was right. I never owned her. But now, she doesn't get to borrow me either.